glasses because guys, I cannot see if I look good or not. I be trying to like act like I don't need glasses, honey, but I do. Anyways, hi guys, welcome back to another video. I feel like it's been a minute. I think I said that in all of my videos, but it's really been a minute. I think it's been over a month that I haven't done a video, but welcome to another video, guys. I'm so glad to be back. I really missed recording. I love recording for you guys, and there's been so much has been going on, and in this video I'm going to kind of give you guys an update on what's been going on in my life this past month, this past few weeks. Also, as you guys can read by the title of the video, I'm going to share with you guys my testimony. This is going to be a very different video. Please bear with me. I'm going to try to do it not that long because I don't want to bore you guys or anything like that. But God has been putting it in my heart for me to share it, and I really want to share it with you guys because I just feel selfish keeping it to myself and not, maybe I'm able to help someone, motivate someone, inspire someone that needs a change or that is just really going through it like I was. And yes, so I'm just gonna jump right into this video, guys. So again, Thursday when I was in church, the message that they were sharing was turn up the volume, talk about what God has done in our lives, right? Because there's people around us that need him but don't know how to, they need help but don't know how to ask for help, right? And she was talking about how faith comes from hearing. And you know, when God does something in your life, you have to share it so others can see like the God that you have. You know, he is our creator. You would think everybody knows, right? But sometimes the enemy has come to destroy and confuse, and that's what he does. That's what he's good at. That's what the world does to us. But I'm not here to preach to anybody or anything like that. I'm just here to share my testimony. Again, hopefully it helps you guys. So without further ado, let's just jump right into this video. But if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you like this video. And yeah. Okay guys, so I have this platform, right, where I know a lot of women follow me, and the main reason why I felt it in my heart to share my testimony is because, again, I know that it might help somebody or might motivate somebody or just give someone hope or faith, that you're not alone and that we all go through things in life and you will get through it, right? So I was asking God, where do I start? You've done so much in my life. Recently, more than ever, is a big shift has taken in my life. A big shift has happened in my life because I was really going through one of the darkest times of my life these past few months. Yeah, I might have not known because I was still doing videos and stuff like that, but guys, don't believe everything you see on social media, okay? Some people might be really going, sorry, my camera cut me off, yo, the enemy doesn't want me to share this. Anyways, I think where I left off was on Thursday when I was in church, I was asking God, I was like, yo, like, how do I start this? Like, how do I start the video? Like, you know, I was just like wanting him to give me the right words, and he was like, I want you to start from the beginning. I want you to start from the beginning. So I'm going to start for you guys, like the first thing that God did for me when I was a kid that to me was obviously life-changing, right? And then kind of fast forward to what's happened in these past few months, okay? So before anything, I come from two parents that were not necessarily Christian or really went to church. Mind you, I don't want to offend anybody or anybody's religion or anything like that, okay? We all have the same God, and that's the God that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a specific, a specific religion or anything like that. Obviously, I'm Christian, but again, to each his own. At the end of the day, we serve the same God. Okay, so my parents were Catholic, but they weren't necessarily practicing the word or going to church or anything like that. When I was born, my mom got pregnant by me after having, I'm gonna get emotional, I know it. Okay, so my mom got pregnant before she got pregnant by me. She had 2 miscarriages, I think 2 or 3 miscarriages. When she got pregnant by me, my mom was like, you were literally like a miracle because we were trying for you. Out of all my pregnancies, your pregnancy was the one that I like was in bed rest and how. So when I was born, it seemed to be healthy and all that, right? As the months went on, I was maybe like, I don't know how many months I was. I started to develop this little ball right here, like a little bolita, and at first the doctors were like, oh, it's just like a little ball of grease, you know. My mom's like, but it started getting bigger throughout the months. It got bigger and bigger and bigger until they finally were like, okay, no, that's not normal, it's actually cancer. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep it together. My dad battled with his own drug addictions. My mom battled with her own addictions. So they weren't necessarily close to church or God, you know. But when this happened, that they detected the cancer, they were like, sometimes God allows things to happen in our lives. that he knows no one, that we can't run to anybody or anyone, right? Because not even doctors can help you sometimes. So my parents, you know, were desperate, and they knew nobody else could help them. You know, my mom at that time was going to a Christian church, which she met this amazing woman. Her name was Amelia, and I love her to death. She was such a pure soul. And I'm so grateful for her. You know, she's not with us anymore, but I was so grateful for her life. And she introduced my mom to God, and she was like, you need to pray. Like, you know, they started a praying group, and a lot of people started praying for me. They started asking for prayer. But my father, which is very, when they tell me about this, it's really hard for me to see it, because my dad was not a man of God, you know. He was not someone, like, he was actually the complete opposite. He was a great person, but he was never someone that, like, I saw like that, you know. And everybody, like, my aunts tell me, and my mom's like, your dad was at that time so, like, so mom was like, at that time your dad left everything that he used to do, and he started going to church, and she's like, and your dad would just pray and pray and pray. My aunts would tell me, like, I remember one of my aunts, she would tell me, like, I remember your dad clearly. He would always be sitting in a white rocking chair in the front of your grandma's house, and he would just sit there for hours crying and praying and praying and praying. Mind you, your father was not a man of God at that time, you know, not someone that was going to church or was like a huge believer in God, but at that moment he knew there was nobody else that could help him, and he needed to believe in something, you know. And him going to church, he started realizing that the only one that had the power to cure you or to save you was him, you know, was God. So your dad would pray like never before. My mom's like, everybody was just we were gathering prayer, you know. The last surgery that I had, they told my mom she's not gonna make it. She's gonna only have 3 months to live, and then you guys have to get everything ready for her passing, because she's not gonna make it. Her body's she's too small to be able to sustain a surgery like this. The cancer is gone now, but she's not gonna make it because the recovery is too hard for her. She's a baby, she's too small. My mom's like, I remember clearly the time, I remember clearly the doctor's name, and I remember exactly how he told us. She's like, and your dad was there with me, and she's like, I just remember going hysterical, like yelling and screaming and just saying, why, like, we're gonna lose our baby, you know. Guys, I'm really trying to keep it together. My mom, I get like this only because I could only imagine as a parent now how horrible and how helpless you might feel, you know. And my mom's like, I was losing my mind, going hysterical, questioning everything. And your dad, I remember your dad grabbing me and telling me, stop, you can't listen to him. He's not, he doesn't know what he's saying. God is going to save her. Like, you believe in God. Like, what are these prayers for? Like, why did we do all this? Like, mom's like, your dad, like, really surprised me, because he was just declaring that you were going to be healthy, you know. He was like, that's not true, she's gonna live, like, you're praying to God, like, you should believe what you're praying, you know. And that makes me, like, when she would tell me that, like, I love hearing that story, just because I can just imagine my father saying that, you know. Actually, I can imagine it, but I would love to have, like, you know, to know that he, at the end of the day, had that faith, and he knew that he was praying to a real God that was going to answer him. Just really fills my heart with, like, joy, you know. So yeah, so they told him that I was only going to have 3 months to live. Mind you, I'm 29 years old and I'm here alive and super healthy. All to the grace and glory to God. So that was the very beginning, right? That's when, growing up, I was like the miracle child, like the miracle baby, you know. Everybody that I would, like, growing up, they were like, oh, like, I would hear people tell my mom, like, oh, ella fue la niña, verdad, que like she's a little girl that like God like saved, you know, like she's a miracle baby, like, you know, God answered your prayers. I would always hear people mention it to my mom. Like it was always a topic of conversation and when I was a little girl growing up. So that was like a seed that was planted in me, like, oh, like God saved me, you know. I didn't know about God. I was a little girl. I didn't know. I just knew there was a God that had saved me. That's all I knew when I was growing up, where like I always knew there was a God, and something inside of me was always like, yo, like I want to meet this God, you know. It was a time where I was like, where I got really close to church, but then again I left church and I would just want to do my own thing, you know. I was always fast forward to like these past few months, right? I would go to church on Sundays. I would give my diezmo, which is my 10%, and God always blessed me and multiplied always blessed me and multiplied all my blessings. Like I cannot say that, like that was always something that God, I always knew God had favor over me, which is why I always like I always wanted or craved going to church. Not because I was perfect, because at the end I was so imperfect and I'm still not perfect. But fast forward to a few months from now, right? I went into one of the darkest times of my life. I should tell you guys, like, you know, I say it was one of the darkest because I was doing like 10xing all of my addictions. Okay, you might think, what, you had addictions? I did. I was a heavy marijuana user. Like I would smoke on a daily basis. Mind you guys, I don't want to offend anybody, okay? I'm not telling you guys this, like if you guys do any of these things, it's totally fine. Like I'm just telling you guys like what those things were doing to me. You know, it took me to a really dark place because it allowed, those things made me so vulnerable that the enemy would come and like would use them against me, you know. Like the way the enemy is going to attack you is through your thought, is through your mind. Your mind is so powerful, right? And once he has access to that, he could destroy you. And that's what it was. That's what was happening to me. Again, my addictions were like I would smoke marijuana like a lot. Like I had always been around it and I had always smoked, you know, but recently it had gotten to where like it was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like in between, like there was nothing that I wouldn't do without before smoking. Like everybody that knew me, like knew that I was like, it was, you know, in church they were telling us how the enemy is going to, God has given you a name and a purpose, right? Since he knitted you in your mother's womb, you were made with a name and a purpose for greatness. But the enemy will come and confuse you and give you names that don't belong to you, right? And one of them was like, I was just a smoker, like, and everybody that was close to me knew, like, oh, she's smokes weed, like a lot, like, you know. Which now that I think about it, it's like, that's sucks, you know. Like it sucks, not because it's bad, like, you know. Again, if you do it, I'm not judging you, I'm not saying anything personal, I'm just saying as like I don't want to be known as just someone that's like that, you know. I used to drink a lot. Especially when I was going through anything, like what I would run to is smoking and drinking, right? Again, these past few months it had gotten heavily worse. I was going through a very toxic relationship, a very intense breakup. The enemy had really just convinced me, like, yo, you're like, you know, the word depression was a word that I know that my mouth and my word has power. I've always known that because, again, I would go to church before, and one thing that they always said is be careful with what you say and what you declare, because whatever you speak, you're giving life to. If you speak positive, you're going to give life to things that are positive. You speak negative, you're speaking death, right? So I never wanted to say that I was depressed, because I was like, no, I'm not depressed. That's not someone that, like, I would always like to think of myself as someone that was a motivation to other people, someone that would inspire other people, not someone that was like depressed, right? And that's something that nowadays, it's something that a lot of people go through. And if you're going through it, I'm here to tell you, dude, you're going through it, and God's allowing you to go through that process for a reason. You know, God uses what the enemy tries to use to destroy you, God will use to empower you. Okay, when I used to hear that, I was like, how? But once God showed it to me, right, before anything, okay, so yeah, I was going through a really hard breakup. My addictions were getting heavily worse. I was going into a depression that I could not get out of. I mean, like, I would wake up in the mornings and I couldn't even get my workouts in because just so many thoughts of confusion. Like the enemy would just tell me like, yo, you ain't, like, you look at all your failed relationships, like look at you, like you're a daily smoker, you say you're gonna quit, but when are you gonna quit? Like you, every day you smoke more, you drink heavily, you hang out with like all these things, right? And like I would just convinced that I had no purpose. I felt like I was drowning. I felt like I was in this like hole of water where every time I tried to like get out, I was just digging myself deeper. And it was so bad. Like I would be hanging out with people and all I could think about was all these negative thoughts. Like it was like a slideshow of just all these negative emotions, all these things that people had done to me, all these things that people had said to me that had once hurt me. Like I was living in the past. I couldn't move forward with my life. It was so bad, right? So I started going to this new church. Because you know God is always working even when you can't see it. God is always preparing your way even when you can't see it. And I'm here to tell you, like, baby, if you're going through it right now, you better start praising God because he's just preparing you for something greater. The enemy doesn't come and attack you just because. If you're going through a process where you're like, yo, it's because you don't understand, I'm telling you, you better start praising God because that means that you are made for something greater, something that you can't even imagine. Okay, so when I was going through this, I started going to this new church. Again, I would just go Sundays. I would give my 10%. I was like, I'm good. God, take care of my finances, take care of my family. Like, I'm gonna take care of everything else. But I couldn't function anymore. I couldn't do my videos. I just could not. I couldn't, like, I was really, really going through it, you know? And when I'm going to church, I have an event and it's called, it's like a retreat. It was a 3-day retreat. It's called Peniel, meaning face to face with God. That's what Peniel means. So when my friend Yvette, shout out to Yvette because she's awesome. When they tell me about the Peniel, I'm like, yeah, I'll go. At first, I was like, God put it in my heart, like, this is what you need. Like, this is what you need. As soon as they told me, I felt that, like, this is what I need. But I was so comfortable with feeling the way I was feeling. And you might think, what? How are you comfortable with feeling depressed? I was bitter. I was angry. I was selfish. I mean, just on a whole nother level, guys. I need to do something. This is a word that God put in my heart before Peniel and what keeps me strong now. If you want something you've never had, you must do something you've never done. It was just a word that came to me. Like when I found out about the Peniel, and I was like, I've been thinking about this. It just comes to my head randomly. So when the Peniel came, I knew it. I never doubted it for a second. I was like, if I go to that Peniel, my life is gonna change completely. But I was like, am I ready for that change? Like the mindset that I was in, just to even think that, right? I was like, am I ready for that change? I was scared because change scares us, guys, but change is necessary. Okay, so they bring it up to me. They're like, you want to go to a Peniel? And they were like, my friend was like, yo, like, bringing it up. And I was like, yeah. It was like a week, 2 weeks before Peniel, and she was like, dude, like, you need to reserve it already because the spots are just going, like, we're almost full, honey. Like, just please do your reservation. And a week before Peniel, I made my reservation, right? Because things were only getting worse. And again, that thought of like, you want something you've never had, you must do something you've never done. I said, that's it, I'm gonna do it. So I did. I went to the Peniel, and guys, when I tell you that I had a full encounter with God, I don't know how he did it. I can't explain to you guys how it was because it was 3 days. They take your phones away, and you're in this like secluded area, right? And it's just 3 days just learning about God and just God speaking to you. And he restored my heart. He restored my thoughts. He gave me he reminded me of my purpose. And Guys, I wake up now, I'm no longer bitter. I'm no longer angry. I'm no longer in like those insecurities, like those thoughts that I thought I was never going to be able to let go. You know, you tell people I can forgive, but I can't forget. No, God says you can't forget, but I will make you forget. He took all those things that were tormenting me and just threw them in the very deep of the ocean. Even if I tried to remember those things, I can't. There was people that I was angry with that I just thought I was never going to be able to forgive. And now we're like, there was one specific person that I was extremely mad with and just bitter, and I hated. I felt so much hate towards that person, and now we're like best friends, and we're going through it because that person went to the pineal also, and now we become each other's. That's why I tell you, when God is going to use what the enemy has used to try to destroy you, God will use it to empower you. Now me and this person go to church together. When I'm feeling like I need a word of encouragement, I call that person calls me, we pray together. We are like, it's so supernatural what has happened in my life in just a matter of weeks. I don't smoke anymore. I don't smoke all the glory and honor is to God. I don't smoke, I don't drink. And it's not like, oh, I don't smoke, I don't drink. No. It's I don't feel the desire to do those things. I don't feel the need. Before, I couldn't go a day without smoke. I couldn't go a few hours without having to smoke. And it was something that like I needed. I felt like I needed to do it. And if I didn't do it, I was angry. I was upset. I was like, oh, I can't even explain it. And now when I first got out of the pineal, I got home and I threw my pipes. I threw everything away without hesitation. I just threw it all away. And when I would think of if I would ever want to do it again, I just felt this nauseous feeling in my stomach. And I just broke down, and I was like, you're so good. Like you really did that. Like I don't feel the desire or the need to do the things that I did before. I don't want to talk like myself. I don't want to walk like myself anymore. I'm like, yo, when I was there, I told them, take it all. Take it all. Just take it all and do what you want with me. Because after like understanding, guys, and I'm here to tell you, like, if you're going through anything similar to that, there is a way out, okay? And I'm telling you, I was very hesitant to do this video. I really was, because I was just like, God, what are people gonna say? What is this? And God was just like, you were bold to talk about the world before. I need you to be that bold to talk about me, the one that has cured you, the one that has saved you. People need what I have. People need what you have. You know, like sometimes we look for other things that are gonna try to fill us, but we only feel emptier. We only feel more depressed, more sad, more bitter. And I'm here to tell you, God is your answer. All you have to do is pray. All you have to do is look to him, and he will give you what you need. Because at the end of the day, I think about it like this, guys. God blesses you and he restores you and he saves you, because again, faith comes from hearing. So people need to hear what God has done for you, right? But again, I was telling God, like, yo, like I was going out of my comfort zone doing this video, because I was like, I don't want to conflict people. I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. But God said, I need to make them uncomfortable in order for me to change them. People need to feel conflicted. People need to feel confronted in order for them to change. And it is not you to say who you're going to make feel uncomfortable. You're speaking the truth, right? So I'm like, you know what, God? This is how I thought about it in my head. The Bible says it. We are responsible for those around us. If we have been saved and God has done it in our lives, and we don't share it with the people around us, and the people around us are not saved, God will hold us accountable for that. And I was just thinking, imagine being in front of God and him asking you, what did you do with what I did for you? Who did you share my word with? What did you do with everything that I did for you? What was I going to tell him? I went to church on Sundays and gave my diezmo. I knew that you had done it, but I would only share it with people that I felt comfortable with. I would only do it when I felt like it was okay. I want him to see that even though I felt uncomfortable, and even though I felt like people were going to judge me, I did it anyways, because at the end of the day, I'm only speaking the truth. And I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. God has everything with a perfect plan. And sometimes he allows you to go through the things that you have to go through only to use that as your testimony. For example, me, he allowed me to go through those dark times. He allowed me to feel depressed. He allowed for the enemy to come and confuse me, but only so he could come back and be like, hey, you're my daughter. And now that you thought you were never going to be able to let go, those addictions that you thought you were never going to be able to walk away from, now you have, because I'm doing it for you, right? And we have to give him all the glory and honor, because that's why he does it. It's only to make you stronger, you know, because he needs to know that you're strong enough to go out there and help others. He gives me the peace that surpasses all understanding. He gives me the love and the joy that I need to share it with you guys. I needed to share it with you guys, and I really hope that you guys found this message helpful. Again, I didn't want to make this video super long. I'm not sure if it's going to be long. I really didn't want to make it so long. Kind of just wanted to share that there's a real God out there that can help you, and that you're not alone, and that anything that you're going through, you are going to overcome. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys did like it, please drop your comment down below. And if you want to give it a thumbs up, I would appreciate you guys. If you guys want to share this video, I would also appreciate you guys. And yeah, again, I'm just going to wrap it up with that. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I love you guys. God bless. And again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.